is a well-established coach in the state of Maryland. He's been a winner at every stop in his career. After a brief stint as an assistant coach at Delaware Valley High School in Pennsylvania in 1994, Coach Crounse coached at Patuxent High School, where he led the team to a 2A state championship game in 2013 and won the 2A state championship in 2015. After a brief stint at DeMatha as an assistant coach, Coach Crounse went to Northern High School, where he led the team to a 3A state championship in 2021. Now back at Patuxent, there's no doubt that Coach Crounse will build on his already excellent career record of 151 and 65. That's Coach Steve Crounse. Reggie White is an alumnus of Milford Mill, where he played.
It's quite humbling to be standing here today, accepting induction to an exclusive club of men who I admire and have attempted to emulate in many ways over the last 30 years of my coaching career. I want to specifically thank Maryland Football Coaches Association and the men who comprise this Hall of Fame committee. Mark Maceros, Bob Malloy, Doug Duvall. These two guys to my right are like the Mount Rushmore of Maryland high school football. So I'm honored that they would speak my name here today. All of our careers are defined by relationships and moments. One of the best moments of my career I actually share with Coach Maceros. We both had players. He was at Eastern Tech and I was at Patuxent, and we were playing at the end of the year. We both had players on our team with cerebral palsy, and they were managers. Before our week 9 or week 10 game, I can't remember which one it was.
Late in the year.
Yeah, we conspired together to hatch a plan to get those kids on the field for one varsity rep. And what it meant to those young men at Eastern Tech and Patuxent and all of their teammates left an indelible mark on me and the rest of our community in Lusby. It was a special instance of joy and hope that could only come under those Friday night lights. And I'm forever grateful to Mark for sharing that experience with me. This football journey has given me everything. It's marked the time of my life. It's seen me through some of my darkest moments and provided me moments of great joy and love. I'm truly honored to be inducted into the Hall of Fame with Reggie White and Todd Apple, two men who, in my opinion, embody the core values of our profession. Two men who, unbeknownst to them, I have watched their careers unfold with great reverence. Reggie's turned Milford Mill into a perennial powerhouse, but he did it by a strong commitment to his players, a devotion to his community, and leading young men by example. Todd displayed his commitment to the community and continued the tremendous legacy of Fort Hill football. His teams displayed discipline, fundamentals, and passion, attributes that we all aspire from our own programs. So being inducted with those two men is very humbling. There are so many people to thank and acknowledge on this journey. Loved ones, mentors, role models, assistants, and players who all played such a pivotal role and who I became as a husband, a father, and a football coach. None of this journey happens if not for the support, patience, and love of my wife, Katie. Anyone who tells you this is a solo mission is not speaking the truth. Her strength and resolve saw me through many moments where I questioned the very path that I was on. And her love and enthusiasm made the moments of joy that much more rewarding and worthwhile. Katie always kept our house humming, running like a Swiss watch, getting the kids to practices, cooking meals, and making our house a home. On top of that, with the three boys engaged in quarterbacking for their father, she also played the role of sports psychologist and player agent. She cooked the Wednesday night spaghetti dinners for 12 to 20 offensive linemen every Wednesday night. She was a cheerleader to every kid in the program every weekend and dealt with the chaos of a coaching staff game planning on Sundays. Her vacation schedule revolved around our summer football calendar, and she sacrificed time so that I could fulfill my promise to other people's families. You've heard this story many times. For me to be standing in front of you today was a 30-year, 365-day commitment by everyone in my family. Winter weightlifting, spring weightlifting, combines, all-star games, 7-on-7, summer conditioning, and then the season. I could not have done it without her, and I wouldn't want to have had to. This award is as much hers as it is mine. Anyone who has read the stories about my family knows that I have been incredibly blessed to have 3 sons who have impacted the landscape of high school football in Maryland. All 3 grew up tagging along to scouts and practices and games since the time they could manage to walk on their own. They have been exposed to every aspect of the game. They have seen every ugly moment, and they have seen some incredible ones too. They were infected with the same devotion to team and accomplishment that courses through my veins. And we have done some special things together. All 3 were quarterbacks. All 3 were coached very hard. All 3 had the opportunity to play in the biggest stage in Maryland high school football. They endured all the daddy ball talk. They endured all the negative shouts at their father, and they did it with grace, honor, and passion. I stand here today partly on the backs of the 3 greatest sons a man can ask for. And what a story we wrote together. Tyler is on the short list of QBs who rushed for over 2,000 yards in a single season. In 2013, as a junior, he led us to the state championship game at M&T Bank Stadium and was named to the All-State team. He is currently my offensive coordinator, and we continue our work together. Reese and Zachary are both ranked in the top 10 in the state for passing yards in a career and in a single season. Both have state titles to their credit and distinguished high school careers. But throw out all the records, what I will take with me is the moments that we spent together. The plans we made, the obstacles we overcame, and the lives we lifted up. They were devoted to being part of something bigger than themselves. They pushed and nudged others along the mission, and they carried themselves like this was all part of their legacy. Not just a simple game. Not many people can say they got that opportunity once in their lifetime, and I was blessed to share that journey with all 3. And my baby girl, who doesn't get mentioned in news articles, but she was the reason I left the office a little earlier after practices 14 years ago. She has stood by me and even stood on the sidelines at Northern, just like her brothers. I love her with all my heart, and she is just as much a part of this. I can say with confidence that she was the only 5-year-old girl who could tell you the difference between middle of the field open and middle of the field closed in kindergarten, and I have cherished sharing the journey with her. As you look down on the names in the Hall of Fame, I'm confident that there are many similarities and characteristics that we all share. There's going to have to be a level of sacrifice, giving up personal things, time, money. There's going to have to be unwavering belief that you can pull the best out of people, get them to accomplish things that they didn't believe were possible in their own minds, but was clearly defined in yours. And certainly a level of pride about the work. Late nights, a million film clips, asking questions, diving into your craft, and never, ever being outworked. These lessons I learned very early in my life in Northeast Pennsylvania. My parents, John and Joyce Crounse, instilled in me a certain belief in my abilities. The notion that you can achieve your goals if you work for them. They taught me to never be intimidated, to always step forward, to lead. They wanted me to be a good teammate, to to look out for others, even if it was an opponent, to win with grace, to praise the work of those around you, and lose with honor and respect. My father, John, was a revered educator and coach. I used to follow him to practices at games at Mountain View High School in the 70s and 80s. He may not realize this, but it laid the foundation for the father and coach I am today. And without those trips and time together, I would not be standing here. That time together is etched into every corner and every memory and is cherished. There was never a child my father couldn't reach, couldn't motivate, couldn't inspire. He saw good in everyone. He showed genuine love for everyone, and his kids would eat through concrete to please him. A kid could not ask for a better role model to emulate, and there was nothing I wanted to do more than affect lives like he did. My mother was my soulmate. She would try to keep me grounded from time to time, but she always was in the bleachers, come hell or high water, with her cowbell and enthusiasm. And when asked, she would throw me some BP in the front yard with taped up paper balls because she knew it was important to me. She was witty, intelligent, and graceful. She didn't like to waste time, but she would always find the time to sit and talk, to dive into the mind of a young man, and make sure that she impacted to me the things that would matter the most. Treat people with respect, finish what you started, give people a chance. She has left her mark on my personality. There's lots of family here. I want to recognize my sister Lynn Powell, my brother-in-law Keith Powell, both considered at the top of their coaching professions. Lynn in field hockey and Keith in baseball. I took a jump in 2002 and moved to Maryland. They were already teaching and coaching at Patuxent and mentioned to me about the opportunity to coach football. They were just beginning their incredible coaching journeys, and I was taking a new step in mine. I watch them every day. I am in awe of their passion, tenacity, knowledge, and love of kids. I take real and mental notes of the way they motivate, prepare, and strategize for season after season. It has been a tremendous blessing to stand by them. I love them with all my heart, and I'm proud to call them family. No one stands at this podium if they don't have great assistant coaches, and finding assistants who are truly dedicated to being a student of the game, of making the same commitment that you know it takes to accomplish truly incredible things. You need to find guys. You need to find guys who have just enough ego to want to be the best at their craft, but not too much ego to think they're bigger than the program. These are rare men. I've been blessed wherever I've coached to be surrounded by great, rare men. I began coaching in 1994 at Delaware Valley High School. The program was only a few years old, and I was joining a staff comprised mainly of 20-somethings. To say we didn't know what we didn't know is an understatement. But man, did we have fun. We all grew exponentially every year we were together. And one of my lasting memories from that time were our annual trips to Altoona, Pennsylvania for the state championships. We, of course, were not coaching in that event. But some of the lessons we learned from watching, analyzing, and dissecting those games have stayed with me throughout my career. We would make that trek 5 hours to Altoona and eventually Hershey because in it we felt hope. We could recognize a promise of reaching the pinnacle of our sport. We never missed one championship weekend in the 8 years that I worked in Pennsylvania. The opportunity came to challenge myself to a head coaching position and run my own program. Duxon was coming off a state finals appearance, which is probably not the ideal time to walk into a locker room. But there I went, and with me came Joe Wysakinski. He threw caution to the wind, packed a bag, and off we went. I will always be grateful to Joe for taking that leap with me, having a friend to implement the plan, and being there to share those exciting first years. At the time, there was a very young coach at one of our meetings after our first scrimmage. He was one of the original graduating students of Patuxent High School and one of its very first varsity football players. He was witty and intelligent, but really not used to me at all. After our first scrimmage against Gwynn Park, he told me I needed to be harder on the kids, get in their faces. I looked at him and explained we were going to level them up, motivate them, and teach. And since that first meeting, Nick Gallo has become one of the best coaches in Maryland. He inspires kids every day. He has become one of my closest friends and one of my loyal colleagues. I can say now, I do not ever want to walk a sideline without him again. He has given me strength, and what we have accomplished together has been magical. There are so many men to mention. Scott Goldstein has been with me since the beginning, 40 years of coaching and teaching and inspiring greatness. Ricky Mason has been a loyal assistant and student of the game, and I've watched him grow as a coach and a father. And I'm proud that he stands by my side. And currently, Kurt Stifler, Austin Heimball, Tyler Crounse comprise my varsity staff, along with Derek Slavings, Joe Stewart, Vic Mellon, Kevin Collin, and Mondo de Guzman. Men of great dedication and incredible talent. So many have gone on to do other things, but have left their mark on my career. Mike Watson was my defensive coordinator and now is the head of athletics in St. Mary's County. And my current principal, Anthony Barone, who started coaching for me at 22 years old, fresh off the move from Western New York. Anthony was with me through most of the building of what Patuxent football is today. And now to have him as my boss is an incredible blessing. I want to mention my boys from Northern who were there to rebuild the program in a little bit of disarray and lay the foundation of what you see of Northern High School today. Stacy Karseski is an incredible athletic director who always put the needs of the kids before anything else. She was easy to work for and work with, and her passion for our success is obvious. My fellow inductee, Jeff Cranford, is the epitome of who you want coaching your son. Reese and Zach had the opportunity to play for Coach Cranford, and they cherished that relationship very much. A selfless, no-nonsense man who I respect greatly. Chris Sparks, who I consider one of my dearest friends, followed me to Northern and leads a life of service to others. He is also a great student of the game and loves the kids dearly. And Paul Hutchinson is becoming a superstar in our coaching profession, and I cherish the moments that we shared on the field. There are so many men who have impacted me or worked with me. I apologize if I offend anyone by their omission. Know that I'm eternally grateful for your time, your effort, your sacrifice, your friendship, and I think of you often. To my players, none of this happens without you. All of you. We build our programs around love. Being able to say as a grown man, I love you, being able to hug someone out of elation or hug someone to console them, to realize that being a part of something bigger than yourself lets your light shine brightest of all. That all of our light concentrated on a single spot radiates so brightly, the magnitude of it cannot be dimmed. We rallied around our community. We preached about representing all of the people in our school. We reminded you that what we do is important to so many. We talked about belief, resilience, toughness, character, and brotherhood. And you responded in every way. You are all my legacy on this earth. What kind of fathers, husbands, workers, community members, executives, and servants you become. I hope it starts with just one lesson that you pulled away from playing football for me. In closing, it all started for me by crawling through a hole in the fence at Grove Street Stadium in Clark Summit, Pennsylvania, when I was 8 years old. I lived 2 blocks from the field and could hear commotion from my front porch. I didn't bother to grab admission money. I just walked up to the stadium at a Saturday morning, pressed my face against the fence. When I saw the hole, I rolled through, and there I was, standing on the field. The smell, the sound, the pageantry of it all overwhelmed me. I was hooked. I wanted to be a part of that. I wanted to feel that all the time. And I wanted others to feel that too. Abington Heights still plays on Saturday afternoons in Clark Summit. I haven't been to a game there in over 20 years. But I can still describe to you in detail those feelings of an 8-year-old boy. I can tell you what it meant to run on the field as a player, what it sounded like, what it smelled like. The game is a part of who I am. I've spent my entire career trying to give that joy to other children and adults. There is simply nothing that compares to it. I'm proud of what we have all accomplished, the lives we have impacted in a positive way, and the moments we have created that I know we will all cherish for a lifetime. Thank you for this incredible and humbling honor.